Hi all, it is Ragarath. I am back again, and I am back with Techtonica. This time I am in the demo and not in the alpha, because the demo got released on the 20th of September. So you can go to Steam and download this and make sure you wishlist it. Right. This video is all about changes. There's been quite a lot of changes, so my actual last video on preparing for the demo is a bit outdated, so I just want to highlight a few of the changes. There are lots of new flora that you can grab. There's these purple mushrooms that you can now pick, like, loads of them of. And what you can also do now is scan things as well. So you can scan these little mushrooms, and even these mushrooms that are on the walls, and there are other new hanging plants like these that you can gather and scan as well. And all of these now go into the databank, so you can actually read about everything in the databank. So that there's a bit of backstory, which is great. Starting to flesh out the backstory of Techtonica. As you can see, the accumulators still do not have their textures or their models, so they are still using this checkerboard texture. The smelters now require 2 ore to smelt an ingot, and you'll notice that there's this blue stuff. We'll talk about that in a moment. I also want to talk frame rate. The frame rate, I want to say it's better and that performance is better, and when I started this it started off at 60 to 80 frames per second, which was much better than it was before. But now that I've got this big factory going over here, I did all this to complete the demo, it's down again to running at around 25 frames per second, so there's still a lot of improvement to be done on the frame rate. Plant matter itself, as you can see in my inventory here, I didn't mean to press that button, now looks like what the biobricks looked like in the alpha, so don't get confused between that. That is now just plant matter. And biobricks now look like this blue stuff. So this blue stuff is now the biobricks. Moving on to farming. Once we have picked all of our kindle vines, you can see this mess because they changed the way farming works. It's now a 2-stage process and not a single-stage process. So you grow your kindle vines, and then you fresh them in the thresher, and they turn into these kindle vine stems and the seed. So the kindle vine stems, as you see, can also be used as fuel, and this means that the threshers actually fuel themselves as well now. So if they're running out of fuel, you'll automatically get a transfer of some stems into the fuel, so you don't ever have to worry about setting up new conveyor belts. But once you've got the kindle vine stems out of the first thresher, you've now got to move them down and put them into another thresher, and that thresher then turns them into plant matter fiber and into kindle vine extract, which are these little ball things here. The kindle vine extract itself gets used in multiple recipes. I think it gets used in processors or electronics or something like that down there, but it also gets used for the biobricks. So you need plant matter extract and you need kindle vine extract. No, you need plant matter and kindle vine, but also the limestone as well, and that gets turned into the biobricks. I've told you about the databank by pressing B, but there is also a new button as well. If you press L, this gives you all of the voice lines that you have heard in the game so far. So if you've ever missed one, you can just click on it and you can replay it, which you couldn't do in the alpha. As you see, I've made a nice little factory down here. They've also added different colored lights. So if you want a different color to a part of your factory, you can now do so by using one of the red, green or blue lights, or even the white light itself. But that's enough of that. The next thing I wanted to mention was the textures and models. As you can see, the splitters stroke joiners are now modeled, which is brilliant. They look fabulous and no longer a checkerboard texture on them. And the other one that has changed as well is the crank generators themselves. The crank generators now are necessary because we don't have unlimited power like we had in the alpha, but they also need to be activated because we don't have the water wheel generators anymore. Or not at the moment. You can't. The tech tree only goes up to the basic level of Lima, so you can't get anything beyond that in the demo. That means that you need to activate all of the cranks, and as you can see from my cranks here, they activate for 2 hours. At the start of the demo, they only activated for 5 minutes, and a lot of people got frustrated having to click on them all the time without a way of automatically making them work. But the texture and model of these is awesome as well. The art team is doing a fantastic job, and so is the rest of the fire hose team. So that is fabulous. And there is one other thing I want to mention. In my previous videos, I was mentioning that you need the mole to gather limestone, and then you put them in a box and basically use that as your limestone mining node. But apparently during the alpha I totally missed that there are actually 2 nodes that you can mine, and the fact that you don't need them because the mole mines so much I think is also a problem they need to look at. So the mining of the mole I think needs to destroy stuff rather than give it to you, and the amount of flora around. I think when you pick the flora, you need to use or get less of it, or when you put it into machines, it needs to get used up quicker than it currently does. But as you can see, this node I actually mined around in the alpha. I just jumped over the rock. I just thought it was a bit of the map that was bugged, but it's not. It's actually a node where you can mine limestone. So yeah, I missed that one totally. Last of all, a time saver for you all before I go. The caves around the edge, you can't see them all now with the echo sketch. It doesn't go all the way like it did in the alpha, but you can see a few here. I have mined out to all of the caves around in the demo. There's nothing in them, guys, so unless you really, really want to, don't waste your time spending hours mining away out in those caves, because you're not going to get anything from it. There's nothing out there. There's no more tech to scan out there that I could find, unless I missed something, in which case, mention it down in the comments. Anyway, if you enjoyed this and it's helped you out, guys, please hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Hit that bell icon. Then you'll see when I get new videos coming out, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!